Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is 1:01 in the afternoon, 11th of February 2026. Look, I'm going to put you on some serious game right now. I don't even care. It is serious game. What I'm going to show you in this video is how to keep your team's status as available, or in other words, keeping your teams green. Now, this one goes out to my people working from home or in a hybrid model or whatever, and maybe they just have an overbearing manager that just wants to check that they're online all the time, which can be super, super annoying. Maybe you just want to pop out for 10 minutes or something. I don't know. I don't care, but this is how we're going to keep our teams green. Even as we speak right now, I've got my work laptop open and I'm doing this very same thing. I'm going to create this mouse jiggle using Power Automate and I'm just going to let it run. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. I'm on my work laptop. I'm on my personal laptop, sorry. But most work laptop, especially new ones, will come with Power Automate as standard. So that's what we're going to use today. Power Automate. Looks like this. So we're just going to open it up. And for those of you who don't actually know what Power Automate is, it's a Microsoft application that you can use to automate things. So I've used it in the past for Excel stuff. Maybe you want to use it to run a macro really quickly or send a file really quickly or anything. So it says you don't have any new flows yet. That's fine. We're going to create a new flow. So that's what they call the automation basically. Flow name it whatever you want. Again, maybe don't name it mouse jiggler because people from work might ask you a question about that and then you'll have to answer for it. So I'm just going to name it as M for this tutorial. It doesn't really matter. Again, create. So now we're going to go into the flow and we're going to add some actions on it. So again, like I said before, it's got a whole lot of functionality with all sorts of stuff. Go SAP automation, Windows services, PDF, whatever. We don't, those are things to help us work a bit more, but that's not the purpose of this video. We're not trying to do any of that. So what we're going to do in search actions is we're going to search up move mouse, and we're going to select this first one and drag and drop it into the middle. And that brings up this kind of prompt screen to allow us to enter some parameters that we need. So in X and Y, and that's talking about the position, you can see how the X and Y is moving as I move my cursor. But in X and Y, we're just going to put 5 and then position Y 5 again. And what we want to change here is we want it to move relative to the current mouse position. So basically, this allows us to kind of press play on our mouse jiggler and it's just going to move from wherever. It doesn't need to be in a specific position on the screen for it to work. And move mouse from previous position. This is just going to indicate how fast you want it to move. This is not very important, but I'm just going to leave it as instant. Again, not very important, but you can change it how you wish. We're going to press save, and there's our step one. And then we're going to go back into actions, and we're going to search send click. Send mouse click. And that's what we want. So basically, this is going to be the pivotal thing that really keeps your status green. It's the click that really does it. Maybe you go on yellow and moving it will obviously change it back to green, but you want it to stay green. So we're going to send a click. Again, a bunch of different options. I'm just going to stick with left click. Doesn't matter. Wait. Doesn't matter again. So I'm just going to leave it as 0 as the default thing. Move mouse. We want it to move mouse. So we're going to click this radio button, I guess. And again, it's kind of the same thing that we saw in this step of the X and Y and relative. So in this one, we put it as 5 and 5. This second step, we're going to put it as -5 and -5. So essentially what that is going to do is just going to move it a little bit and then just move it back. It's just going to move it back into the same position relative to current mouse position. And then we're just going to press save. So that's it. So if we press this play button here, it's going to run our flow that we've made in this main section. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like. If we just press play, now watch the cursor. Watch the cursor as it plays. Did you see that? Did you see that? It just went through step one of moving it five to the right and five upwards, X and Y. And then step two, sends a left click and then moves it back. That's it. That is it, guys. That is it. So again, this is step one and step two. We don't want to keep pressing this for this to work, right? Because that would kind of defeat the point. So what we're going to do is in our actions, we're going to search up loop because that's what we want it to do. And it's the first one that we want. Just drag and drop. Start from, we're going to just put 0 and then we're going to put some crazy number that we just, I don't know, one with a bunch of zeros behind it. So increment by, and we want it to be 1 or at least a very small number. Again, doesn't really matter, but I suggest you use these parameters because it just takes the thinking out of it. Basically what it does is that every time it goes through a loop, it just adds by 1. And it's not going to stop looping until it gets to this absurd number here. And that's what we kind of want because you don't know how long you're not going to be doing work for, right? So just put those in, press save, and you can see that these step 1 and step 2 are outside of the loop right now. So all we're going to do is just drag it into the loop, inside the loop, so we can see how this loop or these 2 steps are going to be looping from 0 to this big number, incrementing by 1 each time it goes through a loop. That is what we want. Now, if I just press play on that, watch the mouse, bang, that is it. That's literally it. It's just going to keep going until it hits that big number, which will probably be in about, I don't know, 3 hours or whatever. So do it use this as you wish. I don't know. With great power comes great responsibility. You can see here on the right that it's going up by 1, which is what I said. It goes up by 1 every time because that's what we've asked it to do. So now if we just press stop, we've stopped it. But after you make this, all you're going to do is hit save. So we're going to save our flow because it does what we want it to do and we've tested it. Come out. So every time you come into this Power Automate front page here, we're going to see our flow that we've made here, whatever you've named it, and you want to go get some coffee or something and you don't want your manager to know, press play. And it's going to take a bit of time to boot up, preparing status, and now it's running. Bang, that's it. So as you can see, it's working and it's going to send a click as well. But if you want it to move a little bit slower, you can just change the animation speed within those 2 steps that we went through. That's it. It's a bit annoying on the eye right now, but if you were to change it, it would look kind of natural. So yeah, we've just effectively made a mouse jiggle using Power Automate. That's how we do it, guys. Don't play yourself by working all the time at work. Don't do that. Look after yourself. Again, I'm not telling you to blow off work. It's a disclaimer here. But just use it as you wish. Use it responsibly. But here you go. I hope I've done some good in your life. I hope I've done something for you here. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. Thank you. Goodbye.